All right, so today is big purchase day for me anyway, and on this road to 100 shares of every stock, today we are going back into Realty Income, and at a price of $52, I feel very, very comfortable buying up a bunch of shares today. And you can see that I'm down 3%, almost 4% all time, which is around 130 bucks. Am I concerned about that? Am I worried about that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The market rises, the market falls, especially when you're talking about real estate. That's what happens. But what doesn't change and what hasn't changed is that dividend income. And that's the most important thing when we're talking about building out dividend portfolios, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add a couple dollars to this account, and then I'm going to buy up some Realty Income. So give me 1 second. All right, so we got our deposit in, and now it's time to make that purchase. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to buy $400 worth of Realty Income today. $400 worth of Realty Income, and that is going to net us approximately 7.6 shares, and we're just inching closer and closer to that goal, right? So let's go ahead, put that order through. Boom, it's done. And now I can take this information, plug it into my dividend tracker, and we're going to go into Realty Income, find it on the list here. Boom, it's right there. And we're going to add in a new trade. Number of shares, 7.66, what was the rest of it? 7.6643. So 7.6643, I'm going to hit next, and we bought them at $52.19. So $52.19 per share, done. And we're going to go ahead and add that, and you will see that our shares holding has updated. And then we'll go back to the dashboard, and you can see that monthly income just went up. It was at 57%. That brought it to 59%, and now we're earning $58 every single month by doing absolutely nothing. This is the dream, and it's only going to get better with every single dollar you add, with every single reinvestment. This is what it's about. It's a slow grind for a lot of us, but that's the way it's supposed to be. People telling you that you got to do all this fast work to get fast money and run the plays and buy all of the dividend, all of the popular stocks, and buy and sell, and they don't talk about the capital gains taxes that they're paying on all of those things, right? Everybody has this notion that you're supposed to go in to the stock market and come out with $300 to $400 to $500 every single day by running the plays. That's not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. That's not how you build wealth. That's not how you build for sure wealth. That game is for gamblers. That game is for people that like to take enormous risks because they have an enormous amount of money that they can play with. And I'm talking about your typical YouTubers and influencers that are out here trying to tell y'all that it's okay to run around in the stock market and play with options. Listen, these people can do that because they have the finances to do that. You know why? Because they have all of you buying their courses. They have all of you watching their channels. So they're getting that YouTube money. In addition to that, they're getting all of the revenue from their Patreons and all of the courses that you all bought. And that's the truth. All right, welcome back. So Realty Income, believe it or not, is not popular amongst everyone, right? Like you got your channels out there that showcase Realty Income and, say that it's one of the greatest real estate investments as far as the stock market goes that's out there. But you do have your naysayers, right? And so today I want to kind of highlight some of the reasons that Realty Income did not perform well in 2024, and then we're going to go right from there into why I still believe in Realty Income as a solid investment going forward in the future, and why I'll probably buy and hold it forever. All right, so let's get right to it, y'all. So you got this article here. It says why Realty Income stock significantly underperformed the S&P 500 in 2024. It says shares of Realty Income declined by 7% in 2024, according to data provided by the S&P Global Market of Intelligence. That greatly underperformed the S&P 500, which rallied 23.3% last year. The real estate investment trust was still in the red after adding in its high-yielding dividend, and which is a total of 2.1% return compared to the S&P's 500's 25% return when adding reinvested dividends. So here's a look at what weighed on the REIT last year and whether it can bounce back in 2025. So if you see this chart right here, this chart is all over the place. And it really stemmed, well, this is with the past couple months, but let's click on the last year. And you can see the shares were up at some point in, let's see, it was that between November and September. It saw a little bit of a high, right? It reached back around $63 per share. But moreover, the premise of this is pretty much for the last year, Realty Income underperformed. And they're saying that's including the dividend return. So if you look at the 5 years, and we kind of broaden this out a little bit, you'll see the 5-year chart is up and down. There was a steady increase, and then we had that steep decline back in 2022, 2023, which is almost synonymous with the housing market going under and rates going through the roofs and things of that nature. So there's all different kinds of things that can affect Realty Income in terms of its stock valuation, right? It says the late year sell-off coincided with the Federal Reserve's interest rate policy shift. While the Fed finally started cutting the federal funds rate last year, it hasn't had the desired impact on interest rates due to stubbornly high inflation. Combined with a strong economy, the Fed subsequently tapered its expectations for future rate reductions in December. That caused the market to anticipate higher rates for longer. So in other words, let me break all that little jargon down for you. It's basically saying, listen, although the Fed cut the rates, right, the interest rates, they did not forecast and foreshadow a brilliant and bright future for this coming year of 2025. What they said was quite the opposite. They said that rates would remain a little bit higher, and that cut would be probably one of the only ones that we would see going forward for quite some time, just because the economy has not bounced back and we are still in an inflationary market. So how does that affect Realty Income? Well, it affects it because if you go over and you start looking into the assets that Realty Income are over, and when you're addressing companies that are over commercial real estate, those interest rates really come into play. And so that is why Realty Income has pretty much seen a slump over the last year, really, and has not seen that growth that we've been accustomed to. Remember that this is a company, Realty Income, ticker symbol O, is a stock that was at one point upwards of $80. Heading out in the future, do I see Realty Income being one of them ones? Absolutely. Listen, I'm not abandoning Realty Income. You saw at the beginning of the video, I just invested $400 into this company, and bought a little bit over 7 shares of it. I think the Realty Income going forward is just going to continue to perform. And honestly, again, this is my real estate play, y'all. I'm not gonna say I don't own real estate, because I do. I own a house in another house, a duplex. But would I rather, if I was starting out and I was starting with nothing, okay? Would I rather try to save up money, go to a bank, get a loan, and then go try to scout out a property that's going to be worth not only my time, but worth my investment to put my money into, and then hope for a return once that property is built up to standard, right? That's a lot. I understand, and I'm not saying for those of you that want to go into that field as far as owning real estate, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just saying, for me, I would rather take the hands-off approach. I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want people calling me, telling me that they had, that a pipe burst or that something went wrong or I got to come fix something. I don't want the hassle. I don't want the headache. And yes, I understand that there are companies out there that will take care of that stuff for you, but you got to pay those companies, right? So I would rather take the hands-off approach, buy some Realty Income, buy some stocks that can necessitate the same thing that I would get from an actual property. And yes, I understand there are differences. When you buy property, ideally that property, increases in value over time. But listen, it's the same thing with Realty Income and a lot of the REITs that I buy. Ideally, they're supposed to increase over time. It's the same thing. And so I would rather take this hands-off approach where I don't have to get my hands dirty. I don't have to take no phone calls late at night that I got to figure out how to, get over there and fix something that went wrong or whatever with the property, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have to worry about, property taxes and things of that nature. There's all sorts of different things that come with, buying real estate that people don't really talk about. So Realty Income is one of my key positions in owning real estate and having them pay me for owning real estate. I think it's one of the greatest investments that you could ever possibly make. And so right now I want to go over to the forecast before we get out of here. So 14 analysts with a 12-month price forecast for Realty Income stock have an average target of 62.46 with a low estimate of 54 and a high estimate of 71. The average target predicts an increase of 16 points. And the interesting thing about this is that they've adjusted these numbers because before the high was somewhere around $77 is what they were estimating, right? But I think because of the news from the Fed and all of this, the high inflationary market that we're in, they have adjusted these numbers. So right now they're saying that Realty Income is just a hold. It's a hold if anything else. Again, these analysts are just normal people like you and I. You take what they say with a grain of salt. I would love to hear what you all think about Realty Income down in the comments, and I will see you all in the next one. I'm going to keep this short and simple later.